Started a series called Missing Christmas. And the whole point of the video and the series is this concept that it's really easy to miss Jesus on Christmas. It's Jesus' birthday, and that's what Christmas is all about. And yet, it's really easy to miss Jesus on Christmas, Jesus' birthday. Does that make sense? And this is exactly what we saw on the video, right? We get distracted with all the presents and all the lights and everything else that comes with Christmas, which is wonderful. And yet, we miss out on the most important thing, what Christmas is all about, okay? The very first Christmas is the day that Jesus was born. It was the same thing. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that when Jesus was born, no one was talking about it? It didn't go viral. There was no Instagram post at all. There was only 3 groups of people that actually met Jesus. We talked about the other 2 so far. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the the shepherds that met Jesus. And last week, we went over Simon. And there's another lady called Anna. But we went over Simon. And third group today, we're going to see another group. But the similarity is that all 3 groups, when they met Jesus, when they actually experienced Christ on Christmas, they were overjoyed. Okay? So all of you guys have many different reasons to be happy during the season. Maybe the Christmas light, maybe some of you guys are going on vacation, some of you guys, your family's visiting, friends are visiting. Okay, there's Christmas lights, there's presents, there's a lot of exciting things. However, if you miss Jesus or Christ during Christmas, then you're going to miss out on great joy that is offered to you. So today we're going to see another set of people that actually found Jesus during Christmas and what it looked like for them. We're going to be reading. Is this working? Okay. Did this go? Okay, it worked. Okay. Okay, it's not working. Can you go back? Is it working? It's not working. Okay. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem next and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." Next slide. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. So far, we have these wise men that come from the east, and they're looking for Jesus. They saw the star, and they said, "Hey, where's Jesus? Everybody must know about him. You guys are all Jewish people. This is your king." But King Herod and all that was with him, they were all scared and terrified. We're going to come back to that. Next slide. When he called together all the people's chiefs, priests, and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. Next. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written." Next. "But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come out a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." So King Herod, he has no idea that there's this king coming out. There's that Messiah coming. So he calls all the biblical scholars and say, "Hey, look at the Old Testament. Where is this Messiah supposed to be born?" And they realize, oh, he's supposed to be born in the city of Bethlehem. Let's keep going. Next. "Then Herod called Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared." Next. "He said to them in Bethlehem and said, 'Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him.'" So King Herod talks to the Magi, the wise men, and they said, "You could find him in Bethlehem. Go find him first, and then come back and tell me, because I want to worship this king as well." Next slide. After they had heard the king, they went on their way. And the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. Next. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. Next. On coming on to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Next slide. This is the last one. "And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route." So these kings come, they ask the king, They finally get the location, at least the city, and they see a star, and that star directs them and tells them exactly where Jesus is. They see the baby, they're overjoyed. And because of that, they give gifts and worships Jesus, and they return back home. We see two different characters here, okay? We see King Herod, and we see these wise men. Let's look at some of the similarities between these two people, okay? Number one, we see that both of them, they're looking for Jesus, okay? We see that these wise men, they have traveled from the east, they come very far, and they actually come to seek Jesus. Herod, he doesn't know about Jesus, but once he finds out there is a baby born, he's very, very intrigued. Of course, for very different reasons. But both of them are looking for Jesus. Number two, both of them, we see that they're very educated people. These are not just normal people. Herod, King Herod, he was a king. The wise men, we could tell from, we don't know too much detail about them, but we know that they're rich enough that they can actually take this trip. Does that make sense? People don't go on vacations. People don't go on these long kind of trips. And we know from Bible verses here and there that we don't know exactly if it was 2 years, okay? Whether they were studying when they saw the star and they were studying about these stars, or it took them 2 years because they didn't have, cars back then. So it took them a long time to get prepared and actually come. But we know that they had 2 years that they come and actually to find Jesus. So these are people who are educated. These people are wealthy as well. Okay? And they're both looking for Jesus. But what's the difference? The difference is that they were looking for Jesus for very, very different reasons. Okay? And because of their reason, even though they were both looking for Jesus, one set of people, Herod and the biblical scholars, they were terrified that there was Jesus. But wise men, they were overjoyed. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you guys is each and every one of us, some of us are not going to obviously look for Jesus at all. But some of us, the problem is not that you're not looking for Jesus. The problem for some of us in here is that we're looking for Jesus for the wrong reasons. Okay? So today we're going to talk about 2 wrong reasons to actually look for Jesus. Now, some of you guys might be Christian here, some of you non-Christian here. Okay? Regardless of whatever you believe, there's going to be 2 sets of people that are looking for Jesus, but they're going to be looking for Jesus for the wrong way. And that's Herod and the scribes here. And then obviously, for the Christians, we need to look for it in the right way, which is the wise men. So we're going to discover what it is, okay? So I'm gonna give titles for these things, okay? So the first group of people, they're trying to kill Jesus. Second group of people, they're trying to keep Jesus a baby. And third group of people, they're trying to worship Jesus. And we're going to see the first 2 method, you're going to be always terrified. Okay? The third method, this is the path of joy. And this is the path that you need to take on. You look for Jesus, but you look for him to worship him. So we're going to get there. Let's look at the first 2 first. We see King Herod. Okay? What does he try to do immediately? What's his reasoning for wanting to find this baby? He wants to eliminate the baby. Okay? Why does he want to eliminate the baby? He wants to eliminate him because he realizes when these wise, smart, respected, noble people coming from the east, and they come and ask him, where's the king? What do you think Herod's thinking? He's thinking what? Right here, he's thinking, I'm the king. But what do they say? They say, no, not you, silly. The king of the Jews. But what is Herod probably thinking in his mind? But he's like, wait, but I am the king. So this is the first group of people. Is they realize they want to actually find Jesus because they realize if I don't kill off the baby, if I get rid of Jesus as the king altogether, then I can have control. I can stay a king. And this is not just for non-Christians, this is for some Christians as well. okay, is that they try to get rid of Jesus altogether in their lives. I'm going to give you an explanation of this. Not many people are as honest as him, but there's a philosopher, he's an atheist, and this is what he says about God. Next slide for me. Next. 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 Okay. I am talking about the fear of religion itself. I am speaking from experience, being strongly subject to this fear myself. So he's saying, I have fear of religion. Okay? And he's saying, because I don't believe, I have this fear as well. I want atheism to be true. He's an atheist. He does not believe in God. He says, I want atheism to be true. And I am made uneasy by the fact that some of the most intelligent and most informed people I know are religious believers. So he's saying, I want atheism to be true. I don't want God. And I feel very uneasy that there are smart, intelligent people out there that actually believe in God. That disturbs me. Okay, why? Why is he so fearful of religion? Next. It isn't that I don't believe in God. And naturally, I hope my belief is right. I hope there is no God. So he's not saying I have all these different reasons why I don't believe in God. Okay? He says, I hope. These are not philosophical thought. These are not intellectual thought. He's saying, I wish there was no God whatsoever. Okay, continuing on. I don't want there to be God. I don't want the universe to be like that. My guess, and he's talking about his fear, he's saying, my guess is that this cosmic authority problem is not rare. So this is what he's saying. He's saying the same thing that King Herod is saying. He's basically saying, if I understand that there is a God who created this whole universe, then that helps me to, then the implications of that is that I'm not the center of the universe. Okay? That means there's a God who actually made me for a purpose. I cannot decide the purpose for my own life. If God created this universe, that means that he created what is right and what is wrong. So I cannot choose for myself, just morally, oh, I believe this is right. It feels good to me, so I believe this is right or this is wrong. I cannot do that anymore. I cannot be subjective. I must be objective. Why? There is actually God. And that's why Thomas Nagel, he's an atheist philosopher, he understands that. He understands that if God exists, there's implications for my life. I cannot just do whatever I want. I cannot just say this is good or this is bad. At the end of my life, there's going to be a judgment, if there is God. And I have to stand in front of someone and give an account to my life. Of course, if God doesn't exist, and that's what he wants to believe, he says, I can live however I want. I don't have to live under anybody's authority. I can live according to my purpose and do whatever I want. Because at the end of my life, I'm just going to die and no one's going to tell me what's right or what's wrong. No one's going to tell me I lived a good life or not. Why? Because there is no God. And that's why he's saying, I don't want God to exist. Not, I disprove them because of my philosophical thoughts, or because of biology, or because of science. No, I don't want God to exist because of the implications. And this is King Herod. He's saying, I don't want baby Jesus to exist. So you know what? If I have to kill all the babies under 2, I'll do it. If I have to go that far to keep my kingship, keep my authority, keep my freedom, I will do it. And that's why we have a bunch of people, maybe some of you guys in this room, and a bunch of people in the world, they're not open to Christianity, they're not open to this concept of God. Not necessarily because there's philosophical thoughts behind it, or logical thoughts behind it, but because they realize the implication. If God exists, then I have to live under a God. And the implications of that is frightening. So we see first group of people, which is King Herod. Now, there's a second group of people. The second group of people, it's not implicitly described in this narrative, but we see this quite a bit. The second group of people are the people who want to keep Jesus just a baby. Okay? What that means is that you realize that Jesus does exist, or God does exist, but you want a God that you can control. As you guys know, some of you guys are parents. You guys understand that babies can be very, very demanding. Okay? They want this, they want that, they want to eat this, they're hungry, they're very demanding. And yet, babies are powerless. Totally powerless. I don't know about you guys, but my baby, when he was, now I can't, it's harder for me because he's like so strong and he's heavy. But before, when he couldn't walk, I used to do a whole bunch of things with him. Okay, what I mean by that, babies are great tools for entertainment. I'm sure some of you guys have seen videos of this, or videos of, like cute baby pictures and things like that. But what I used to do is I would put him on top of my hand, and I would try to like lift him up and try to like just see him wiggle. It's very dangerous, but super entertaining. Okay. Another thing I would do is Jeremy and Nicole remembers this. When I was in Sacramento, what I used to do is I would put we had lime, and then we would like see what he would do if he ate lime. Like the lime juice. It's super sour, and try to see like his reaction, baby's reaction. Okay, and he has no control, right? He can't say no, I don't want this. Okay, no, daddy's giving it to him, and then he has no choice. Why? He has no power. He's a baby. So I get to control whatever I do with the baby. So I'm sure every single parent in here, you're like, oh yeah, I've done something. Okay? Or your parents did something to you guys before, right? You've seen pictures of they make you wear ridiculous clothes, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so cute, but you look at it, you're like, why did my parents do something like that? Okay? It's easy. Okay, again, yeah, on the one hand, babies are demanding, and yet babies are great because you could do whatever you want with it. And this is what some of us, especially Christians, want to do with Jesus as well. We want to keep Jesus a baby. We want to keep Jesus very, very soft and very, very cozy and very, very small. We don't want God to be, or Jesus to be a king. We want to keep him a baby. Why? Then we will have control. Okay? Jesus, goo goo gaga, make me laugh. Entertain me. Make me feel good. Do things where I could post Instagram videos. But when Jesus grows up and he becomes a prophet and he tells you certain things are okay and certain things are not okay, and he teaches you that you got to die to yourself, we go, oh, Jesus, no. No. It's not like that. Our relationship is not like that. Remember, you're a baby. So we're okay, Jesus being our counselor, great counselor. Just someone that we can come to pray to make us feel good. Okay? And is God a great counselor? Absolutely. But he's not only a counselor. Some of us, we feel good that he fixes our problems. He's this great fixer, and we pray whenever we need stuff from him. Again, is he a fixer? He's a great fixer. Yet, he's not only just a great fixer. We forget the element, or we like to take out the concept that Jesus is actually coming as a king as well. But it's easy to say, no. I want some parts of Jesus. I want the good, the fluffy part of Jesus, the baby side of Jesus. But when he gets too serious, or when he wants to really change my heart, when he wants to go into the secret places of our lives, when he tells us that certain things are not good, then we go, no. Keep distance from me. I will do my part, you just do your part. So these are the two different ways, the wrong ways of searching for Jesus. Again, first group of people, they search for Jesus so they could eliminate him altogether. Second group of people, they search for Jesus, but they only want the good parts. They're not willing to accept Jesus as a whole. They just want all the good parts, and all the negative parts, or seemingly negative parts, or the parts that we disagree with, we're like, no, I want to keep you as a baby. Okay? Where do you think you are? Are you like Herod? Or are you these religious people? You know a lot about Jesus, but you only want stuff from Jesus. You just find Jesus useful to you. We're going to see a third group of people, which are the wise men. The wise men, the more I study about these wise men, the more I think I'm very inspired by these people. Look at the things that they did. They're not Jewish people. Okay, they actually, in the beginning verses, if you read, it says, where's the king of the Jews? He doesn't even say the king of the universe. These are different people, and yet they still come just to find Jesus. But you know that not only did they do that, so they sacrificed their time, their resources. Not only that, if you look at the verse, it actually says, when they saw Jesus, they opened up their treasures. So other people, Herod comes with a sword to Jesus. Other people, they're like, Jesus, what can you give me? Can we negotiate? But these people, they freely come with all their resources and they lay them at Jesus' feet. So you look at that and you go, what's going on? Why is it that these people are willing to go so far just to see Jesus? There's people trying to kill him. There's people who are trying to take stuff from him. But why is it that these people, they give up their time, resources, to actually come and worship Jesus? And guess what? Jesus is not going to even remember, right? Because he's a little baby. They're not going to get acknowledgement from him. And yet, they leave overjoyed. Why is that? It's because they come to worship Jesus. Now, I know many of you guys in this room are thinking, maybe these people are just like really unique type of people. You know those like, you guys know those people, the religious fanatics. Those people. They study their Bible all the time. They're always, every time you say something, they're like, hallelujah, baby. Or amen. They're always like using religious jargon. They just seem so interested in worship. They're always like, yeah. They're so happy. And you go, okay, so maybe these three wise men, they're just by nature, these are just religious people. And you most likely are thinking, but I'm not like that. Some people are like that. Some people are really passionate about Jesus and religion and all that stuff. I'm just not like that. Okay? But that is the most untrue thing ever. A couple of years ago, when I was studying this in Sacramento, we were doing a small group. And we came to this question. And I want to ask you this question as well. How far are you willing to travel for food? Okay, that was the question. How far are you willing to travel for food? Okay? Let's say it's like the best Texas barbecue ever. Like ever. Okay? Or whatever other things. Okay? Whatever food. Your favorite food. Okay? Some of you guys, okay, what's the closest said? Okay, Austin. 3 hours? How many of you guys are willing to drive 3 hours for like the best food ever? 3 hours? Any of you guys? Okay, some of you guys. Some of you guys. Like literally best food ever. How many of you guys are willing to travel 3 hours? Okay, some of you guys. Okay. How about to another state? Okay, like Arizona or something. Okay, any of you guys willing to travel that far for food? Oh, okay. Some people. Okay, some people. Okay. Okay. Let me change up the question. Let me ante up. Okay. Let me put more stuff on there. How about somebody will give you your dream house. Okay, but you have to live there, and you have to commute to Dallas. Okay. So the house is in Austin, but your dream house, but you have to commute 3 hours, right? Are you willing to do that? Any of you guys? Dream house, your dream perfect. Oh, none of you guys. Okay, some of you guys. Okay, guys, some of you guys. Hey, there's no shame, okay, no shame. Okay, how many of you guys, what if the most beautiful or the most handsome girl or guy, how about this? Your soulmate. This person will complete your life. Okay? How many of you guys are willing to date somebody who lives in Austin? Okay? You got to go a couple of times. She's not going to come, or he's not going to come, because they're perfect. They're not going to come. Okay, you have to go. How many of you guys are willing to date somebody, or willing to go that far for them? Okay, a lot more people. Okay, a lot more people. Last one. Let's say you have to travel to Austin because, okay, you actually won the lotto. Okay, lottery ticket. You won the lotto. And you got to drive to Austin, okay, to pick up your prize. How many of you guys are willing to go? Okay, I think everybody here. I think even, what if you have to go all the way to Korea or something? You got to go to Peru or something to pick it up. Any of you guys are like, I don't know. That's a little far. I don't know if I'm willing to do that. Okay, so what am I trying to say? My point is that every single one of us are willing to sacrifice time, are willing to travel, are willing to do stuff if we think the stuff that we're getting is worthwhile. For some of you guys, it's food. Food is treasure enough. For some of you guys, it's relationship. It's good enough. I'm willing to sacrifice stuff. For some of you guys, it's money. If I could get enough money back, I will sacrifice. What this tells me is that these people are not just fanatic people. They just loved Jesus. And they wanted to worship him. Every single one of us in here will worship something. Every one of us in here is willing to travel for something. Every one of us here will open up our treasures, if especially like in our relationship, a guy or a girl, we open up our bank account and we pour them out. We're willing to do it. So it's not that these people are fanatic people, these people are weird people, these people are crazy people. Every single person is willing to do something. I remember a long time ago, one of my church member, every single time, late to church, always had a difficult time coming to church. Oh, Pastor, I'm so sorry. I just have such a hard time waking up. Okay? But when ski season came around, wakes up at 4 a.m., goes to Lake Tahoe. Okay? I'm not judging him. Okay? But what I'm saying is, he doesn't have problem waking up. Okay? Every one of us, again, are willing to sacrifice. Every one of us will do what wise men did, if at the end of the goal, we think that itself is a treasure. For the wise men, it was simple. It was very simple. They thought meeting the king of the universe was worth 2 years of their life, willing to travel in the desert, willing to go through difficulties, bring all their treasures, and worship. That gave them joy. That gave them peace. And because of that, they did it. And so that's why it's not, I know some of you guys are thinking, oh yeah, I need to be like the wise man. I need to be like the wise man. I need to just pray harder. That's never going to happen. Now, you might try to pray harder. You might try to read the Bible more. But if you don't love Jesus, if Jesus is not your treasure, you will never do this. And that's why for some of us, it's much easier to watch sports than actually learn about God. Because sports is our treasure. I'm not saying sports isn't necessarily a bad thing. For some of us, watching drama, it's much easier. Why? Because that's where our heart is. So our hearts need to change. Does that make sense? The thing is not try harder. Sacrifice more. All of you guys are willing to sacrifice. All of you guys are willing to go more if the thing that you are searching for is actually important. So what we need to do is to realize that Jesus is really important and Jesus is really beautiful. There's a quote by Tim Keller. He says this: religious people find Jesus useful. Religious people. And this is what I'm talking about. The people who want to keep Jesus as a baby. They do all the religious things and they all do all of that because they find him useful. But true believers, true Christians, find Jesus beautiful. So if your relationship with God is, God, you're a useful God. You have all this stuff you could give to me, then this relationship, it's not going to last very long. Or you're going to be very disappointed very quickly. But like the wise men, you come to him because you find him beautiful, then even if you're losing stuff, then you leave overjoyed. The Bible text, it's just one word. It says they were overjoyed. But if you actually look at the Greek text, which is the original Bible, it's actually 4 words. You know what it is? It's they rejoiced. Okay, they rejoiced with joy. Okay, exceedingly with joy. So like they used joy like 3 times to describe how happy they were. We get to come and worship you. We get to come and see you. Again, it's because they found Jesus beautiful. This is impossible in some ways. Our hearts do not operate like this. Okay? And the Bible says it's because we have a heart problem. That we don't find Jesus beautiful. We find a lot of other things beautiful. And yet we never find Jesus beautiful. Or we see very glimpses of Jesus and we go, yes, on Sabbath he's very beautiful, and yet by the time we potluck, we forget about Jesus like this. And again, and Christmas is a reminder of this. Reminder that it's not you try harder, but it's realize that you cannot change this heart. And this is why we see Jesus coming down as a baby. And this is what Christmas is all about. Christmas is to understand, even though Jesus has poured out his love and affection towards you, you continue to run away from him, and yet Jesus has not given up on you. That God hasn't given up on you. He knows every single wrong thing that you have done in the past, that you are doing right now, all your secret sins in your life, and yet he still sent his son as the most fragile being. And that is the beauty of the gospel. You have to see something beautiful. Then it will change your heart. You have to understand that Jesus comes to take your broken heart out and give you a new heart, so that you would really see the beauty of Jesus. This Christmas, many of you guys are going to search Jesus for different reasons. Again, some of you guys, you were like, I gotta get rid of this God. He's getting in the way. Some of you guys say, whoo, if I have a little bit of Jesus, if I have that Jesus sauce in my life, it's gonna enhance it. He's gonna make my life better. But if you don't look for him because he is beautiful, if you realize that he comes as a baby, and he comes not to control you, but he comes and he lives the most humble, the most painful life. Why? For each and every one of us, to save us, to reach out to us. So if we see that beauty, that will transform our heart. And as we continue to see that beauty, that will continue to change our heart. And now we can actually seek him as our treasure as well. It's a process. It's going to take time. All of us are in process here. But I hope that this Christmas, you may find Jesus as your baby, as is your treasure.